Welcome to the Gym Heroes Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Peacock. Today's show is brought to you by Gymdesk, the easiest gym management software you'll ever use. Take payments, create marketing automations, track attendance, and much more. To try the software out free, go to gymdesk.com. No credit card or painful sales call required. Our hero today is Richard Hadden, author of Contented Cows Give Better Milk, a book about how to get better work out of your employees by treating them right. Employee retention is important, especially in fitness, and replacing employees is very expensive. That's why today, Richard tells us how to create a great employer brand, why it's important, how to build it, and how an employer brand can help you both find the right people and keep them. Without further ado, Richard Hadden. All right, Richard, welcome to the Gym Heroes Podcast. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your background in business.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, my name is Richard Hadden, and I'm an author and professional speaker. I've been doing this for about 25 years. 25 years ago, I came out with my first book called Contented Cows Give Better Milk, which I co-wrote with Bill Catlett, and he and I have written 4 books together. And the book has nothing to do with cows. It has everything to do with the fact that in the same way that contented cows give better milk, satisfied, engaged employees give better performances at work. So I have, for the last 25 years, been going around the world speaking to corporate audiences, association conventions, things like that, and writing and doing training, leadership training around employee engagement and kind of the what it takes for organizations to not only attract but retain and engage the very best people working in their organization. So we really made the business connection between creating a great place to work and a great place to make lots of money. It's not so much just the social and moral aspect of creating a great workplace. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do to create a great workplace. But what we've also discovered in our research is that it is the profitable thing to do. So that's what I've been doing the last 25 years or so, and I've worked in the fitness arena and also just about any other kind of industry that you can think of. Where I've spoken and done conferences and so forth. Anybody with employees, I think, can benefit from our message.
Excellent. So one of the things I've heard you talk about a lot, in fact, how I discovered you is talking about having an employer brand. So can we first talk about what is an employer brand?
Well, first of all, you have to think of the fact that recruiting is marketing. So recruiting for employees really is the same thing as marketing, but it's different than how we usually think of marketing our services, marketing your gym, marketing your company to customers and members. But it's about recruiting and marketing your organization as the place that people in whatever business you're in, that's the place they want to go to work. That's where they want to go to build a career, not just to have a job. So there are all kinds of examples, and most people don't think about an employer in terms of their brand to the same degree that you would, pick any fitness brand, or if we don't mention specifics in your arena, if we talk about McDonald's and Amazon, all of those really iconic brands, and so. Some employers, that I can think of as an example is Zappos. And Zappos has an employer brand. They're called insiders. So if you work at Zappos, you're called an insider. And they really kind of market toward that. And people who want to work in that area want to work at Zappos because, the branding is just kind of the packaging of it. So it's got to have to do with what's really on the inside. Another one that's not so well known, but has a really strong employer brand is the city of Denver. I mean, if you go and look at the city of Denver's website, you can see that they really have focused on serving the public and those kinds of things. And they have kind of a whole brand built around that. There's another company I can think of called Rackspace. They're in the Austin, Texas area. It's a high tech company. They call their employers rackers, and people really want to go to work there. It's a cool place to work, but they've also kind of, again, to help their marketing, they have kind of created this mystique a little bit in terms of a brand around their employer. So, again, if we go back to the idea that recruiting is marketing, you want to think, what can we do? Number one, well, the whole other issue is we got to create a great place to work. But then once we've done that, that's not enough if people don't know about it, especially today when so many employers are having a hard time finding people and then keeping them once they get there. So one of the things that I say just about to every audience that I speak to is, remember this mantra: reputation recruits, but reality retains. Reputation recruits, but reality retains. So you've got to build a reputation so people know what it's like to work there, or they have some kind of an idea what it's like to work there. But it's got to be backed up by the reality of what it's really like to work there.
Right, absolutely. I know the fitness space is notoriously bad about employee retention. Like,
Yeah,
so bad.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably
Well,
up there
and
with
that's not
some
it's
retail.
not the only it's not the only industry that's that's notoriously bad for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's the pay is often low, and the companies are slow with raises, and um, often it's sort of a churn and burn type of operation with
Yeah. Yeah.
personal trainers and things like that.
Yeah, and that's why organizations, in the fitness space and others, if they, I mean, if you're going to go to work for a hedge fund or someplace where you're going to make tons and tons of money, or working in some IT environment, all right, so you might be doing it for the money. I think we all know that people are not going into the field that you're in uh, to get immediate wealth, but it speaks to something that's important to them. So it's part of their personal values, and so employers like that know that, I mean, there's a balance here. You've either got to pay people well, or you've got to provide something else that they're excited about, and creating not only a great workplace, but kind of a work culture. And in a gym, in a fitness organization, a culture that people can really get behind, and that relates to them personally. Those are some things that can kind of offset the fact that, yeah, we may not pay the very most of any employer that you might go to work for. Otherwise, you do have what you talked about, just that churn and burn. Okay, people come in, they get a job, they get a paycheck, they can do the work, it's fine, but there's nothing compelling about it. There's nothing that grabs them by the soul. And that might sound a little corny to some people, but I think a lot of people are in the work that they're in because, not just because of the paycheck. I mean, that's got to be there. And employers, in fitness and in other areas, need to look at that. Are we paying as much as we can pay, as much as we can afford? But we certainly don't want to pay more than we can afford, because that's not sustainable. But if we don't pay the very highest that somebody might be able to get in something else, either with another employer in your industry or in another industry, what are we providing that can compensate for that? And having an employee culture that people can really rally around, and that can be identified, communicated through an employer brand, that can be very helpful.
Real quick before I put you back into the episode, Gymdesk has powerful yet intuitive features to grow your business, and there's a few really great features I'd like to highlight. The first is a deep, best-in-class email and SMS marketing system with automation tools to make your life as a business person so much easier. It's like having a dedicated, full-featured email service provider native to your gym software. We're really proud of it, and it's something that we've recently overhauled. And in addition to all the stuff a good management software should do for you, like member management, attendance, booking, scheduling, and reporting, you can set up an easy, simple, attractive point of sale system to sell merchandise in person or through your website with just a few clicks. And if you like to provide members-only content, we have a content management system that lets you choose who can see what content and when, all visible from a member's web portal and the Gymdesk user app. So give your gym the lift it deserves. Go to gymdesk.com or click the link in the description.
Absolutely. So you mentioned creating a culture. How else can somebody go
Yeah.
about creating an employer brand?
Well, first of all, once you've created the brand, you've got to let people know about it. You've got to get it out there. And there's, in today's world, there's all kinds of ways to let people know what your brand is and what it's about. And, the one of the most direct and straightforward ways is through an organization's website. So I spend a lot of time evaluating employers' websites from the point of view, what if I were someone who was looking for a job in this industry? And and I know people who are listening can probably relate to this, is they're looking for jobs. They're either kind of spreading the whole waterfront, every organization they can think of in that area. They're going to go online and look at this and look at that. And, when that happens, you just become one of many places that people are looking at. If you've created an employer brand, they're going to go to you first because they're going to have heard of you. They're going to know to look for you, and they're going to see if what they see on your website and in other things, we can talk about social media and so forth. If what they see there is something that appeals to them, they're going to apply and hopefully will, have a successful career for some period of time there. But I would encourage everybody who's listening to this, look at your website first. If you don't have something that says careers right at the top, on the top of the page, very prominent, easy to click, easy to get to, that's the first place to start. If you don't even have that, no wonder you can't find people, to apply for work at your organization. They don't even know how to do that. People are not going to click 3 or 4 levels down. Don't put about us and make people click in 3 or 4 levels. Careers. That's the word people are looking for. And when they get there, man, they ought to see a lot of stuff, because here's what they're looking for. What would it be like to work in this gym? What would it be like for me as a personal trainer, or as, in any capacity working in this organization? What does it look like on a daily basis? What does the facility look like? What do the members look like? What does the equipment look like? What's it going to be like for me on a daily basis when I come in there? The physical surroundings, what I'm going to do, but also what's the culture like? People are looking for, what is the culture in this organization? You can do that in video. You can do that with testimonials from people who already work there. And you really need to kind of go all out on that part of your site. And yet so often what I see when I click, if I even see a careers tab, I'll see a list of available opportunities. Nobody cares about that. They know you've got some available opportunities. That's not exciting. That's not compelling. That's not going to be enough. They want to see some sizzle. They want to see, what's it like to work there? Who's my boss going to be? What is this person like? Are they, is it somebody I feel like I could work with and get along with and enjoy being with? So that you got to do. Then you've got to also exploit every angle of social media, especially I think in your demographic, where most of your people who are looking for jobs in this industry will tend toward the younger end of the range. There'll be people who are obviously very interested in fitness. So ask yourself, where do those people hang out online? And so, if it's X, if it's Instagram, maybe LinkedIn, that's probably not going to be the biggest one for your area, but it certainly doesn't hurt to be represented there. Facebook, whatever. YouTube, that's another great avenue, is make sure you have videos for your gym on YouTube. You've got to have your own YouTube channel and have videos there that show not only what it's like to work out there, but what's it like to be an employee there, to work there. And so exploit all of those areas. Today, there's so many avenues. They're relatively inexpensive. It's not like 30 years ago where you had to produce a TV commercial. You can do that, but you can get so much more visibility for so much less money today by using your website, which is something that you already own. I'm sure everybody listening to this, their gym has a website. So make sure that you're putting it to the best use and that you're also using social media.
Excellent. So let's say that you actually have a bad
Yeah, yeah,
employer brand. How do
yeah.
you remediate that?
Well, first of all, you've got to make sure that the underlying reality is changed. How did you get that bad brand? How did you get that bad reputation? Because somebody said, and there probably was some truth to it. This is a lousy place to work. It's churn and burn. It's a sweatshop. No pun intended. Obviously, there should be some sweating going on there, but it's a sweatshop. They don't appreciate their people. They don't pay enough. They make it. All of those bad things. Probably there was some reality to that. And if you've gotten a bad reputation, you first of all got to fix the underlying reality. Once you fix the underlying reality, I would say acknowledge it right up front. Okay, so yeah, we used to not be a great place to work, but I tell you what, there's a new sheriff in town, things have changed, and here's what it's like. And you probably have to go over and above what your competitor who didn't start out with a bad reputation might have to do to convince people that, yeah, this is the kind of place where you want to work. This is where you want to build a career in fitness. This is where you want to grow. This is where you want to learn.
Thanks. So let's say you have an employer brand. It doesn't necessarily have a bad reputation, but it doesn't have much of a reputation.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
no sizzle about it. It's not sexy. What do you do to strengthen the lackluster?
Well, there are, just like you would do with marketing your services, there are organizations that can help you with this. So I would look for an agency, for someone who's going to help you with your marketing, and make sure that they have some experience in marketing you from the employer side, not just from the service provider side. I would interview those agencies, find out if they can do that. And it doesn't take a whole lot. And I'm not suggesting that people invest millions in an employer brand. I'm really suggesting that they build a strong reputation, and then within their community, and when I say community, it's not just necessarily your geographic community, but within the community of people who would be interested in working there, make sure that you are able to hook it to something that is memorable. Just in terms of branding, my company, we have branded ourselves Contented Cow Partners. That's the name of our company, because everything we write about and talk about makes that point that happy employees are productive and profitable employees. And we have a cow logo. If you look around my office here, I'm 1, 2, 3, I've got about 19 cows on my desk here. So, go with something that is identifiable, that people can remember, that's memorable, and that's a little fun and maybe a little edgy. This is not banking. This is not a buttoned up, stuffy kind of an industry. So do something fun, something that appeals to people who are going to be interested in this. But maybe again, get some professional, creative help that can help you to do that. So many organizations do not have anything like an employer brand. They're just a place to work. So you can distinguish yourself with something that's a little bit of a hook, a little bit of a memorable marketing hook to you as an employer, not only as a service provider. And if you do that, there are few enough organizations in fitness that have an employer brand that you'll distinguish yourself. You can rise above the others.
Awesome. Well, this has been really great. Where can people find you?
At contentedcows.com. And I stress the S at the end because there is a website called contentedcow.com, but it's for a pub in Minnesota. So you won't find us there. Go to contentedcows.com, and there you can find we have a blog, and we post at least every week there. You can find information on leadership, on how to create an organization that attracts, retains, and engages the very best people. And you can find out about our speaking offerings and our book and things like that.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, Josh. Great. Thanks.